Hey, you know what today is. Sisterhood Checkin, coming right up at 10 p.m. Make sure you set your clocks, get your popcorn, get your pen and paper, call up your girlfriends, and tell them Sisterhood Checkin is about to start. See you in a few minutes. Welcome to Sisterhood Check-In. I am your author and coach, Nadira Lewis, and I'm excited that you get to spend another Friday with me. So today's topic is going to be pretty interesting. I have a special guest that's going to be discussing a topic which I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video floating around here in Atlanta, Georgia, with the couple that actually it was a murder, considered to be a murder-suicide. And I thought it was befitting to really discuss exactly the intricate details around what we were allowed to see regarding this couple's story. And the reason why I've picked today as an opportunity to really talk about it is because we don't really, as women, we share with each other some things, but a lot of couples, a lot of families have been going through a lot this year, and there's a lot of stuff going on that we really need to just get down to it and just say, you know what, let's talk about it. Let's talk about those things that are disturbing your peace, and we're going to do that. But before we do that, right, I want to go ahead and play this video for all of you that may be watching us via YouTube. Make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching us via Facebook, make sure you click like and share if you have been blessed by the content that you've been receiving. So after this video, we'll go ahead and have my special guest come on, and I'll see you in a few moments. So look forward to seeing and chatting with you guys in a few minutes. We'll be right back after this. And we are back here with my special guest, Miss Khadija
Hey,
Johnson.
hey, hey, hey,
Welcome
hey.
back to Sisterhood Check-In.
Thank
And you and
you.
I were talking, we were discussing the topic that we're going to be talking about today, but we were talking a little bit more detail in terms of the video that's floating around. I have been feeling a little under the weather for the past couple of days, which is why I haven't really been seen in these internet streets, because I've been really just trying to recuperate and just trying to recover health wise, and just I just been just really tired, just been working, and just going, and not giving my body the rest. So I know now that when my body starts to feel tired, to listen to it and to rest. So I'm back. But when I came back, I saw a video that was floating across the internet, and it was disturbing in so many ways, grieving, and really just it just made my heart just break. And it was the video, Khadija, where there was a couple here that moved here from St. Louis, Missouri, and they had established businesses here in Atlanta, doing were influencers on the YouTube channel and in so many other internet places, in the media. They were just inspirational to other people that were watching, and they had a pretty huge following. But it really broke my heart when I just happened to just watch this video. I kind of stumbled on it, where the lady was actually talking about, she was doing I think it was a Facebook live or Instagram live, I'm not sure. But in the video she began to describe how she needed to feel loved, and how she had been going through a lot, and how she wasn't able to really, she was surviving every day based on the encouragement that she was getting on the internet. And
Mm,
that really that just, I don't know, something inside of me rose up, and I stood up in my chair, and I thought, wow. And she says, you guys just don't know, I have a group of people that I listen to that keep me encouraged, that keep me going from day to day. And she said, because sometimes we just need encouragement. And she began, and then it was a compilation video of other, I guess, the commentary. The person who was doing the video was doing a commentary on all the events surrounding their death. And my heart was just so grieved, and I shared it with, a couple of people. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts about it. And I wanted us to kind of do a discussion about it, which is why I said, what's disrupting your peace? Which is why I chose that topic, because I know there's a lot of us here, especially during COVID, we deal with a lot, we don't always know what everybody's dealing with. But Khadija, from your perspective, you've seen the video. What
mhm.
were some of your first thoughts? And we're not, and remember, this is just commentary. We're discussing the video. We're not judging the couple.
Right.
We don't know the internal things that happen in their house. The reason why I feel it's necessary to have a discussion, because we don't know who's next at their breaking point.
Mhm.
And we can't take it for granted that somebody may need to hear something that we say to
Right.
encourage them and keep them going one more day. So, based on
Mhm.
what you've known in the video, what you've seen, what are your thoughts so far about when you first saw
Um,
the video?
well, when I first looked at the video, what little bit I did see of it, I my one of my thoughts was just listening to her talk, was where's your lifeline? And
Mm,
one reason why I say that is because, as she was saying, like they're in the limelight and they put out so much. And then, even with them going through, like, who,
mm,
we often say as people, like, we pour out so much. Who is it and where's that person that could pour into us?
mm,
But also, part of her lifeline was social media and those that kind of
mm,
encouraged, those that kind of, helped her through her daily life. And
mm,
so that's the kind of thing that kind of stuck out, is like, where is your lifeline? Where is that person that, if you're going through, you're looking one way in public, and what's amazing to me is, and I hear so many people say this, that in public you have to be this different person.
mm,
Behind closed doors, you're suffering. Like, you can't be your authentic self, which you should be
mm.
able to be your
Right.
authentic self in public. in front of people, in front of the audience. You can't. You have to put up this certain persona, this certain thing, because they're watching. And when
Mm,
you first got out there, this is who you portrayed. You portrayed like, hey, I'm Khadijah. I'm this happy-go-lucky person, and everything. And I can give it a good example, and just because of this. When people meet me, they grab onto my personality, right?
right.
They grab onto the fact that, hey, you're a Christian, you believe in Christ, you know, it's like you're supposed to be happy go lucky all the time. You're supposed to be joyful all the time. And so when they see the other side of me with a little temperament or a little tone or anything like that, they're shocked by it because
Mm,
they are so used to me being one way. And so looking at the couple and I'm saying, where's your lifeline? That is sad because outside of what
mm,
little bit of on the social media that she had, who else could she go to? We could say, oh yeah, you could pray, go to God. That's what we as believers say. And even though I heard her say something about she's praying or whatever, but stuff like that, but
mhm,
some people aren't there. Some people need that other person,
right.
or somebody that can actually pour into them to kind of get them through the situation. And listening to the video, she was like, she has nobody in Atlanta outside of
Right.
her husband because she came from out of state and they moved their whole family there. And I know, what that feels like when you move somebody in a place and you don't have that family where you can say, hey, let me go drop off the kids. I need a moment. you
Mhm,
know you
mhm,
don't have that person you could trust to get that mental moment. And
mhm.
so that's one of the things I kind of took from the video, was that she was crying out. She needed and she did say she needed love as well.
She did express that.
Yeah, she did say she needed love. So those are like two things and it's so sad that she felt that was missing. But like the video said, or like she was kind of saying, like, you would never know it, or the commentator was saying you would never really know it based on the pictures that they were showing. And it's
Mhm,
sad when you can't be yourself. It's
mm,
just like when people change their body because of social media, or you feel like you have to be this way in front of the crowd when
mhm,
you're dying on the inside.
mm. That's so true because as I was listening to the video, a friend of mine, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about how, her needing help with the kids, and having 8 kids is a lot of kids. I
Hmm.
know what it's like to have, quite a bit of children, being blessed with a household of children.
Yeah.
But it does help when you have people to say, hey, let me come,
Hmm.
especially when you're coming from a new state. But there's some states that are more hospitable. There are
Yeah.
people, or should I say, there are more people in some states that are more hospitable than they are in other states. In the southern states, you tend to get more people that are open to, bringing you into their home, more open to saying, hey, you can come stay with me. I remember, when my husband and I, before, we that was something before he passed away. That was something that we always did. We always opened up our home to people, because it was what we loved to do. We didn't care about the acknowledgement, what a person could do for us. We just loved being there because we understood what that felt like, to be in a place where you have no family and nobody that you really know, and you want somebody to come and embrace you and say, hey, I'm here for you. And so what I want to do is I want to play for some of you that may have not seen the video. I'm going to go ahead and play a brief clip of the video, and we're going to watch it, and we're going to go through and we're going to discuss this video. And if you've watched this video, and if there's some areas of the video that you want to comment on, feel free to put it in the comments and let us know what you're thinking as we go through the video. But I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and let's talk about it. Let's have an open discussion about it.
I need prayer. I need strength. I need love. I do. This is the breakdown of the tragic love story of Ronell and Kiana Burns. 46-year-old Ronell Burns, originally from St. Louis, was a leader and coach at Six Figure Ambition, an online program for entrepreneurs. He had over 7,000 followers on Instagram, and his bio reads, "You don't have to be great to start. You do have to start to be great." He had a YouTube account with nearly 2,000 subscribers where he posts educational videos. Ronell spoke at many business events and shed inspiration and education on his Atlanta-based community. 44-year-old Kiana Burns, who was also originally from St. Louis, Missouri, was an insurance agent and owner of Critique Designs Beauty and Barber. She had almost 14,000 followers on Instagram, and most of her posts were about family. She also posted inspirational quotes and preached motivation to her followers. The family moved to Atlanta earlier this year from St. Louis, Missouri, to expand their Critique Designs beauty and barber salon and grow their Primerica insurance clientele. The married couple were respected by their community for their career achievements and inspirational personalities. As is often the case, everything looked great on social media, and Mrs. Burns reportedly took great strides to make it appear that way. In a video post, Ronell discussed that both he and Kiana mutually considered divorce at one point in time, and that they battled with internal struggles within their marriage.
We're gonna go on about our business. And as we said in the truck, and we said, hey, you know what? If we're gonna get a divorce, let's be civil. You know, we got kids, we got businesses. We said, well, let's just sit down and just talk about how this all gonna work out. Meaning from a business aspect, we didn't talk about why we should stay together. You know, we love each other. None of that conversation was being had. We was done with each other. And so all we talked about, we said, okay, well, listen. We done with each other. We both came to that conclusion, but let's not impact everybody like this around us because we just decided we don't want to be together no more. Let's not do that. So I said, let's have a conversation. And we took out a piece of paper, we drew a line down the middle of it, and we talked about how the business was going to go, how we was going to divide the business. And she go her way and I go my way, but we didn't want to compromise and jeopardize everybody else's future because we was tripping. Let's not destroy our businesses. Let's not tear each other's name down. Let's not do none of that because there's kids, there's family members, there's moms and everything that we plan on retiring one day. And just because we decided we don't like each other no more, we're going to forfeit all that. We're going to mess up that for everybody. No, we got to figure out a way how we can work together, be divorced, go our separate ways. Know at some point we're going to get remarried to somebody else, but keep sustaining what we promised the people that's dependent on us and keep that thing going. And when we got through having that conversation, we wrote everything down and we had it mapped out to a T how we was going to continue those businesses on an individual basis, but still reach that common goal and forget about everything else. And see, by the time the night had reached us, God had changed our heart. And I start thinking back to Jesus when he was on the cross. And Jesus on the cross, and the same very people that he was dying for, he pierced them in the side and he wanted to quit and he wanted to give up. He didn't want to go further. He looked up to heaven. He told his father, he said, listen, if there's any other way, he said, if there's any other way, God, remove this cup from my head. In other words, let somebody else do this. It got to be a better way than me getting on this cross and dying for everybody. Said it got to be a different way that we can save the earth. He said, but nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Nevertheless, not my will. In other words, so he went through trials, he went through hardship, and it didn't even feel good to Jesus going through the persecution and the tribulations. But he was focused on why he was put here on earth in the first place. And I think that's one of the biggest keys to our success is that in spite of what we go through, see, people think our life just been rosy, and it ain't rosy now. We got a better marriage than we ever had, but our life ain't rosy. We got crap that's happening. If I get on and tell you about all the crap that's going on in our life, you'll say, I feel sorry for them. But we don't want nobody to feel sorry for us because we focus and we know why God put us on this earth, and it's to make an impact on people's life. It's to inspire people to go be great, but we got crap too. But when we go through our crap, we ain't giving up, quitting.
8 years prior, Ronell appeared on an episode of Divorce Court where he was accused of cheating on his ex-wife and damaging her credit. Ronell turned his life around and remarried to Kiana. On October 30th, through Facebook Live, Kiana called on her friends to help her through a difficult time. She mentioned struggling with her own mental health, after the big move that was hard on a family of 10. She stated,
Y'all, I'm telling you, if you don't stay prayed up and you don't keep faith, things can swivel in and take you out. I'm telling you, you guys, like the transition, it wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. Um, and when you come to a new state or city, and you're trying to learn people and you're trying to learn, the things that they do, and that could be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids, it's just us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got nobody. We can't drop the kids off at our kin folks' house. We can't go. So right now my husband is, at a retreat. I stayed back due to because we have our children here. However, you all, I just want to talk on her because you have to be prepared for life changes, no matter what it is that's taking place. And I'm trying to encourage someone because things in your life can change for the good or the bad overnight, literally. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out. You know what I'm saying? Um, I've come in contact with so many people where they feel like they can't make it to the next day because certain circumstances happen. But you have to know the things that you're going through is for a reason.
on November 6th, roughly 6 months after relocating to the Atlanta area, things went awry when Kiana and Ronell were home alone just before 9 p.m. Their teenage daughter called the police to report a domestic dispute from a location other than her home. Police arrived at their home in Gwinnett County and found the deceased couple. Neighbors reported hearing gunshots coming from inside the house. According to police, Kiana Burns fatally shot Ronell Burns, then turned the weapon on herself. She reportedly shared a video online in which she was dancing, singing, and seemingly in a great mood just hours before the shooting. The details surrounding the murder suicide are still scarce, but many are shocked and saddened by the tragic love story. The saddest part of it all, the couple left behind 8 children, their own children, as well as kids from previous relationships. Police said they have no record of domestic violence at the family's home.
Now, you may not even be going through something for you yourself. It may be for somebody else and someone else's strength. So I made a post earlier where I said you have to continue to encourage people because what you're going through could be their lifeline to survive. You know what I'm saying? And I know for me, sometimes when I get on social media, yeah, we all know it's like we get on there and we be like, social media, I just can't stand it. It get on my nerves. People this, that. But I'm telling you, it's some strong sisters and brothers on social media that keep me going some days. Like real talk. I have some very positive people that's on my timeline and they help me through my gloomy days because yes, I do have them. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, if I'm being totally perfectly honest, I'm having one right now. And the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you got to reach out and tell people that you need love, you need support, you need care, you just need a hug. And honestly, you guys, I need that. I need that right now. I mentor so many women. I encourage so many women. I pump life and positivity in so many women. But sometimes I need that myself. And God knows right now, I need that, you all. You got to get to the point where you got that love circle that's going to support you no matter what, that's going to be there for you no matter what, that's going to be able to help you and talk you through things that you feel like you just can't get through. Because if we leave things to ourselves, we start thinking to ourselves and we start making bad decisions. But you got to have somebody. I always say, if I'm not around people that can help me stretch, I'm not around the right type of people. You gotta have people that's around you that's not yes men, people that's gonna help you think, people that's gonna help guide you to positivity, to greatness, to things you really need to do and be in life. And that's what I want around me. It's a lot of people that I used to hang with, and I love them to death and love their souls, but they're not where I want to be. They're not. It's places I want to be in life, it's things I want to do. And I've just decided for myself that I'm going to figure out a way to get around those people, because every day Kiana want to keep growing, and you should too. You guys, I'm asking you one thing, because I really need it right now. I need prayer. I need prayer. I need strength. I need love. I do. Stay encouraged. I'm going to go in my home, go in my little prayer room. I'm going to talk to God. Y'all pray for me. And I promise I'm going to keep praying for everybody else that need encouragement. I love you all. Talk to you soon.
A close friend of the couple said the following: to know this couple, Kiana Burns and Ronell Burns, you had no choice but to love them. They were selfless, loving, and caring. A lot of people say money makes you act different, but not them. They were so down to earth and very humble. They lit up any room they walked in, motivational to others, and only wanted to change the world.
You gotta take yourself off mute.
What were some of your thoughts as you were watching the video? I noticed that you were writing and you were thinking, and I know you've got some stuff brewing on the inside. Talk to us about what you're feeling at that moment. I sound like Oprah. Talk to us
About what you were feeling.
Talk to us
Just
about
going back over the video, and it's just actually I was really thinking like, man, 8 kids, that's just praying for their strength. Really, that's actually what I was thinking at looking at that video again, because that has to be a lot on them. And gosh, when I, like, just having that being in front and then behind is that struggle. And she really was crying out, you know for help. And some part of me is that we, even though we cry out for help, how we come back with strength. Because when she was even crying out for help and saying, hey, pray for me, then she'll come back and say, well, I'm gonna be praying for all of you guys too. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes when we really need that help, we don't really show exactly how much help we really need, because we try to come back and cover it up with something different. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I could tell you, Nadira, I'm hurting, but then I come back with something, so you don't really know how
Mask
deep
it.
that pain. Yeah, you mask it. You
Mhm.
don't really know how deep that pain is, because I've already, even though I told you I'm hurting, I've already came back and mask it with something else. So even though I say, hey, I need you in this area, you would really never know. I mean, it's just so many things that even looking at this video makes me look at myself, and finding that person or that you could be open and honest with. You know what I'm saying? That can hear you and, allow you to be yourself with, and, just minister to you or pray with you, or, just understand. And it's just a hard situation when you feel like you don't have that. And it seemed even, with him, when he said they decided to get the divorce, and then they decided to get back together. and stuff like that. I mean, I don't really know everything because I don't really get a full side of him. So you don't really, you can see his love or his whatever, but you can't really get his emotion part in it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't. And you get more so of hers, maybe because it was more so towards the end, and so that's the thing you capture the most. But yeah, that's really what I was thinking. I was really praying for her children. And then the other thing was how I could tell you how hurt I am, but then I come back and mask it with something else, and you would never know the depth of my mental state or what I am going through. And I think we do that because sometimes we're so used to being looked at as the strong person.
Mm-hmm.
And so being looked at as that strong person, you never really become totally vulnerable to anybody because you
Right.
still want people to think I got it
You're
together. Or
strong.
right, yeah, I'm strong.
Mhm.
I'm holding it together.
Mhm.
And so I think that's just something that I don't know, that we maybe groomed ourselves into or something. What do you think?
I think it comes from just being raised by strong women that have had to play had to be strong. Literally, they were, especially if you come from a single parent household, you had to be strong. You didn't they Our parents back then didn't want to share, especially the ones that were single parents, didn't want to feel or look like they were weak. So I
Mhm.
believe a lot of us picked up that strong. We interpret strong for, and it's good to be strong. The
Yeah,
key is to be strong. You don't have to be. I think in being strong, we forget to be vulnerable.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
said, we don't. We mix. We
Mhm.
look at. We tend to separate vulnerability from being strong. Or if I'm strong, that means I can't show that I'm weak. Because
Right,
if I
yeah.
do, then that doesn't. It's going to look like I'm not strong. And I think what
Mhm.
I've learned, the reason why the story touches me so much is because I have been that woman,
Yeah,
been married and miserable, going through ups and downs and having people
yeah.
pray for you. And on the outside, getting to the point where you feel like, oh, everything is great. And
Mhm.
then you wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
like, didn't we just, I
Mhm.
thought we just got over this. And then
Yeah,
you're in the midst of other people, you're trying to be the best that you are. And then privately, you deal with those internal
yeah.
frustrations that really have never been dealt with,
Right.
where you're discussing things and you're talking amongst each other and you're trying to get each other to understand what each other feels and thinks and why you think that way. But you too, being married sometimes it's difficult when you're dealing with somebody who has already made their mind up that they're right, and nothing you say is
Mhm.
going to change that. And so you kind of start to internalize your frustration.
Yeah.
And as I was going through the story, I was thinking about, it's like I when I looked at this video earlier, I wrote down some key things as I was listening to it, and I was asking the Lord, like, what can I learn from watching this video? Because they
Mhm.
said something that was important that made me think about something that happened in my first marriage. And I remember the lady who was pastoring us at the time, and she had a guest speaker over, and they were like saying, oh, you're gonna this, you're gonna be that, and when this happens, you're gonna be an impact to the world. And I remember feeling like, impact, what exactly does that mean? Because in my mind, I started to feel like, is that impact going to be, are we still going to be together in impact, or is that impact going to affect people in their marriages when we are no longer together?
Mhm.
And so when I hear people say, man, God's going to use you and God's going to do this and God's going to do that, I start to think to myself, does that mean, because sometimes that could mean that God can use you in the current situation, or he can use your story to
Mhm.
encourage other relationships, other marriages, and help them to be able to go through. Another thing I wrote down was, don't forget how he brought you through. And
Mhm.
that's why I think journaling is important, being able to get that stuff out. Because I didn't, at the time, I wasn't even thinking about journaling. I was just
Yeah.
internalizing everything. I didn't hear a lot of people say journal, journal, journal. I was just so mad at the
Mhm.
thought of just I didn't have the patience in my hand to write down what was in my heart.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I internalized a lot of the frustration, and internalizing it began to just be poison sitting on the inside of me, to the point to where you just shut down and you just
Right.
become
Yeah.
numb. You become
Mhm.
numb and you don't even respond to things that frustrate you anymore, because you become numb. So as
Mhm.
I'm watching her literally describe in different pictures of them encouraging other people, I think what happens is, and this just means this is just proven, and now I see why, even where I am in my life, why God has put me in a position that I'm in now, because I get to share a lot of the testimonials that I've gone through. I get to share. The Bible says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony, right? And so it's important that as we're going through things, to document the process, because people are not concerned when they're in the midst of everything. Sometimes they're not concerned with where you are now. Yeah, you look like everything is going well. That's great, but I'm not there yet. So I'm not really interested in your end story right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just started going through it, so you haven't even gone through it yet. So there's not really anything you could do to help me yet. But when I start to realize that the most powerful impact is in the journey, that is the part that people need. That is the meat and the potatoes that people need. How did you get through that? That's what she was saying in the video. I need encouragement. She was asking for the journey. How are you getting through? I need to get through. She was screaming for somebody to say, hey, I know what you're dealing with. I know what you're feeling. And she did say there were people that encouraged her, that kept
Yeah.
her going. And I thank God for the timing and the season that even I'm in right now in social media, to be able to be an impact on people that are watching, because we don't know everybody whose lives we impact. We just don't,
Mhm.
unless they verbalize it to us, write into us. There's no way to know. But what it showed
Mhm.
me was, you know, I thought about that scripture, and it says in Psalms 23, it said, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I thought, God, that is exactly what has happened to me. Your goodness and your mercy
Yeah.
followed me through all the tragic downfalls that I went through in my marriage, through all the things, all the emotional up and down. It was goodness and mercy. And so when I look at this couple, and I said, yeah, He is using their story, because I believe their story is going to help a lot of other marriages. It's going to help a
Yeah.
lot of other relationships. And my prayer is that in people seeing it, that it causes them to draw closer to God, and it causes them to reach out more. But it also causes us to be accountable to our gifts, which means that if God is giving you the gift of encouragement, if God is giving you the gift of discernment to be able to know things, to see things, then I pray that it makes us make us stand up and say, you know what, God, I want to make sure that I'm sharpening my gifts, and that I'm doing and being in position where you want me to be, because people's lives, as you can clearly see, are being affected by day-to-day encouragement. What if there
Yeah.
was no social media? You know,
Yeah. Right.
with all the pandemic and everything that's going on, I think people's state of mind I think it could have been worse. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Um, you're probably absolutely right, about being, that encouragement and stuff like that. I was also thinking about when I think some part in the video she was talking about the mind, and like her mind being idle or something like that. And I guess, like, all I could think about when people say a idle mind is like the devil's workshop or whatever. That is so true, because you
Mhm.
start to wonder and ponder things, because it's like, even though I may be telling you, "Hey Nadira, you're like my sis and I love you," and da da da, da," and you could sit in a moment of a day and you could think, "Man, does she really love me? I wonder what she doing," and or different things like that. And so I see. I guess I'm kind of thrown off, but I was just kind of reflecting on that video as well as, some things that we deal with. And I was also thinking about your title of disturbing your peace and stuff like that. And I think an idle mind is one thing that can disturb your peace because it keeps you wandering and it'll take you off track, especially if you don't focus on, I guess, things above, as the scripture says, or different things, or really take in what that person is saying to you as truth, and stuff like that. So I was just yeah, encouragement and stuff like that is good, and all that stuff like that. But I also, my mind wandered to when she was talking about the idle mind, and just looking in my life how sometimes you could just sit there and ponder, and that person or whatever may not have said anything, may not have done anything, but the enemy will play with your mind sometimes and make you think that, oh, this person got something against me, or this person, or they over here doing that, or I'm not succeeding like I'm supposed to. And, God may have already given you a promise, right? You may have already started walking, or things may not be looking like you think they should look, or whatever. So you begin to ponder, I'm failing, or, am I getting ready to go back in this situation? Or, so my question would be to you. I know we could say, you think on things above, and let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus. And Christ, the Father has given you the nothing but love, power, and not the spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. But for as a coach, for those that may have that idle mind that is disrupting their peace, because that thing is internal. Like, how would you coach them through, especially if they're not, don't have that relationship with Christ?
I think what happens is, especially if they don't have a relationship with Christ, most of the time people define peace, they get peace and successfulness together. They combine peace and successfulness.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm successful, I'm at peace, which is a temporary peace. It's not really
Yeah.
a permanent peace.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was thinking about this topic earlier, I started to ask myself, what is it that you're passionate about? And I think when we really start to ask ourselves questions, like, what are you passionate about? Because when you think about the things that you're passionate about, you do naturally, right? You do it naturally, and you don't, and when you do it naturally, you tend to do it without any thought. You
Yeah.
just do it. Your mind is occupied. When I'm doing when I feel like I'm in my lane and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I don't have the time to be idle. Sometimes I feel like I just don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Which is why I see why now they say that, it's important for you, especially if you're single and you don't have a maid or whatever, to focus on doing things like, raising your children and do it. Because as long as you're constantly working on living outside of your current situation, as long as you have that picture before you, you'll have something to go after,
So
right?
that's good about writing the vision, or making a vision board, or doing something to keep your focus in on something besides that, that idle time that distracts you and disturbs your inner peace. So that's a good
I'm
point.
also I'm also willing to say that a lot of the times most of it is not even idleness. I think what happens is our definition of success, our
Mm-hmm.
definition of peace, is we're finding out is not really true. Our definition of success has to include impacting other people's lives, which makes sense why God built us for relationships, right? Because what he told Adam is not good for man to be alone,
Yeah.
right? I believe that God built, if that was the case, if it was only meant for Adam to be here, Adam would just be here. He wouldn't need to have, Eve here. He wouldn't need to have animals. He wouldn't need to. I believe that God saw the power in relationships, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what will happen when we actually include impacting others and changing their lives, and not just thinking from an aspect of just how I'm going to benefit, then I think it'll change how we view, our perspective will change on how we view success, and everything else will just be, it'll just change, it'll just happen. Jesus said he will keep your mind in perfect peace when your
Right.
mind
It's
is
stayed.
stayed on him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say peace. He said the peace I give you, not as the world gives you, right? That means there's a peace that only God can give you, right?
Right.
And I believe that peace comes, it's tied to your obedience to the will of God for your life. I think it's tied to the obedience and the will of God for your life. And I
Right.
think and the reason why I said that is because you don't really find peace in doing stuff that doesn't motivate you or impact others. You don't really
Well,
find peace in that.
yeah.
You might
Well,
find
sometimes
you might be
people.
okay, and you
Uh-huh.
might be in the meaning, like you could work at a job, right? And you could be doing something and it may not. That's why people quit jobs, because they're like, this is not me. What they're really saying is it's not fueling me. It's not impacting people in a way that it's changing my life too. You ever help somebody that was homeless, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you help somebody that's homeless, they get excited, they're grateful, but it does something to you too. There's an exchange
Yeah.
that takes
I also
place.
think success, not only monetarily, but
Right.
success for somebody could be, um, something in them in internal. You know what I'm saying? Like, today my success is I got out of the bed. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I don't think it always, like you say. I mean, it can be tied into doing for others, but so for some people, it's just because I think everybody looks at success different. And I think with some people, they look at the success within themselves with, maybe today I accomplished, this is my success because I accomplished this goal, and or whatever the case may be. I think it just comes in many different forms. For me, it would be my success is, of course, the next with that whatever's in me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe staying consistent. Oh Lord Jesus, I'm successful in being consistent, or I'm successful in not procrastinating. That's another milestone of success for me. Not just, oh, I'm a millionaire, billionaire. I deem that as success, which
Right.
most of the work, because we've been groomed like that though.
Yeah.
We've been groomed to success looks like,
To
oh, I'm
connect
the
success
next doctor.
to
Yeah, I'm the
finances. Yeah.
next, whatever. Not that, hey, I'm the next Burger King worker at the cash register. They look at those things as being low, but to that particular person, it could be, I've never had a job in my whole entire life. I never wanted to work. So success to me is I'm getting up and I finally got a job. I'm finally doing something with myself. So, success could come into, depending on that person, could come into in many different forms or fashions.
I mean, that's true, which is why I
Yeah.
said that your definition of success has to go beyond you, because Jesus said, look at what Jesus said. He says, um, love your neighbors as you love yourself. This is one of the commandments. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we can't love somebody else as ourselves if we don't know who we are and what we possess and if we haven't done the work on our own self. We're good at personification, making you perceive certain things about us, but forgetting, not always intentional, but sometimes we get used to doing things for other people only, that we forget to take care of ourselves. That's why you can see people that are successful doing extremely well and are depressed.
Mm-hmm.
They're depressed, they're doing extremely well because their personification of success is having a lot of money, having doing that. And having money is good, but you need still to take care of you.
Right.
I
Yeah.
told my son
Yeah.
today, I said, because you're never going to, you can't completely give. This is one thing. I knew a young lady, right? And I used to always watch her, and she's a believer. I used to watch her complain about always doing things for other people, right? And this was like many, many years ago. And I used to say, wow, like, why even do it? Like, if you always complain if somebody asks you to do something for another human being, just say, I'm just not really and the only reason why I feel like she was frustrated all the time is because she never won and her frustration was basically because she had things to do too, and she didn't have time to do all the things that she wanted to do. So asking her to do something else outside of her capacity to do it was frustrating because she felt like she was already imbalanced. She was struggling to balance. And what I realized is, and I used to be like, man, why did she get so frustrated? But one day I sat down and I thought about it and I said, you know what? That's what happens when you do more giving to others than you do to yourself. When you have to have, because what happens is it's almost like there's a saying I heard somebody say one time, you can't give out of an empty cup.
Right.
If you're constantly empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that means people are scraping to get what they need from you because you're making yourself available and you have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's okay to take time and say, you know what? Like the young lady said, I need love. I need to feel me, Lord, feel me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When we get to the point to where we're taking time and say it's okay to say no to some things and say, no, today I just can't do it. I'm not at the capacity to do it. It's okay. And I had to learn that because I was a people pleaser, and I didn't like hurting people's feelings under any circumstances. So, but what I realized is I was creating such an imbalance in my life that me never saying no was becoming difficult for me because I was creating this internal frustration because I was trying to be there for everybody else. And I realized is that my cup was drying up. It was evaporating, right? And you can't replenish anything that's evaporated unless you pour more in, right?
Yeah.
So I started to feel less guilty for doing things for me and saying, no, today I just can't do it. Or no, today I won't be able to do it. Don't mean that I won't ever be able to do it. But I realize it's okay to take time to take care of you, because if you don't take care of you in those moments, if you don't, then what happens is you get to a point where you're up to here. You've had it and you just need one more thing to tip you over. And I often ponder on that moment where they begin to take it, where, the first life was taken and then she took her own, from what and these is just alleged, that we don't know it to be accurate. We're just going
Right.
based on the video. But based on what they were saying, the reports were, is that she killed him and then took herself out. And I thought the enemy, when I was in those suicidal moments, right? Sometimes when you feel suicidal, you just want out any way possible. You're not really thinking. People say, well, what were you thinking? Well, what were you thinking? Well, that's the point. I wasn't thinking, right? Because the enemy job is to get you to do it quick before you think about it. Because knowing if you do think about it, right, then what's going to happen is there may be one little slight possibility that you might think about something like your kids.
Yeah.
You might think about that you have family and friends that love you. If you get 1 minute to think about that, and I have to prevent that. So the way I prevent that is I make you do it quick. And that's what happened. People make you do, we're in a society where nobody waits for anything. It's do it quick. Do it now. Do it now or else, And so now the we don't have the capability or the patience to take time and think things through. So now I'm frustrated, I'm angry. Now you into this heated situation, and I'm sure that's probably what happened. It got heated, something
Yeah.
happened, and just the fact that there's a gun readily available,
Right.
doesn't
Right.
make it any easier. Which is one of the things I was concerned about, because we had a gun in our house, and I was always concerned for this moment that I see in another couple's marriage. I was always worried that me being that woman that everybody's talking about me, because being in this abusive relationship for 15 years,
Yeah.
and you're thinking somebody's going to be talking about me one day. But I had to realize that, you know what? I had to reach down, and I had people that I think having a support system of people that
Yeah.
love you, that are constantly there. It's hard when
Yeah.
you move to another state. I know I did it. I moved
Yes.
to another state. I moved to Florida
Mhm.
with 2 kids.
Yeah.
you know and it's hard when you move away from your support system, and then you have to figure things out on your own, and you might be thinking, I'm
Yeah.
doing this for a better life for my kids. I'm doing it so that you have all the great intentions, not realizing that when that pressure comes and when things
Right.
come up, without having that support system there, it can be really hard. It can end fatal, as you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So we're going to
sad.
take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to continue our discussion. If you have any thoughts, or if you've watched the video that we just showed in regards to Kiana and I forgot what the young man's name is, Bergens. I think it was the tragic love story of Ronell and Kiana Burns. I'm sorry, Ronell and Kiana Burns. So if you've watched that video and you have some thoughts, I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts? What comes to your mind when you see how such an it seems to be an amazing, impactful couple come in and have made a major impact on the city of Atlanta and have 8 kids and really at a breaking point where they have no support system? I want to hear from you. So we'll be right back after this.
I want you to remember that God's created everything you see. He breathed it into existence. You remember when his people were caught up in slavery? He rescued them. What he did was he parted the sea, and he made a way for them, and then he delivered their enemies to them, and he unlocks wombs, and he provides water from a rock, and he provides manna from heaven, and he brought down the walls of Jericho. He froze the sun, allowing victory. He's toppled giants with tiny stones. He's brought fire from heaven. He's shut the mouths of lions. He preserved life in the belly of a well. He's fed thousands with a few loaves. He gives the weak strength. He heals the sick. He's made the blind see, the deaf hear, the mute speak, the lame walk, and he's overcome evil, and he's made a way through death for you and me by the death and the resurrection of his son, Jesus Christ, that we will live with him forever. We will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever and ever and ever. What are we afraid of? His resume is flawless. He controls everything. And he loves you.
You know, there's seasons in that our gifts operate and flow in. There's seasons. And if you miss your season or your moment, your gift may not be no longer useful. Because if he called a generation to ask a question or to need something in a specific season, and he birthed you for that season, you're useless if you don't operate in your season.
Listen, Nadira, listen. You're doing it again. You're doing it again. Now that you do it.
Yeah. Put you down. Sing all my melodies.
I've done some terrible things in my life,
Some of them I chose to do,
and I own these choices.
but others, I just feel like I was swept up in a series of circumstances that didn't involve my will.
They just sort of happened to me.
I've become the culmination of those choices and circumstances.
So I guess I just need to say it.
I really,
Really.
really need some help.
Hello, I'm Tracy Harris, and I help women in positions of leadership go from stalling to balling, taking back control of who they are so that they can create the lifestyle they desire. For more information, go to www.tracylharris.com.
Hi, I'm Sherman Q. Harrison, herbal naturopath. I help release individuals from a state of toxicity into natural wellness so they are able to go from feeling to healing. Book a call with me today at www.healbynature.org. Zach.
Hello, my name is Thomas Taylor III. I'm a visionary coach. I help business leaders align their dreams with their destiny so they can build a lasting legacy. So if that's you, you can reach out to me via Instagram at Thomas Taylor III, or you can follow me on YouTube at Thomas Taylor III, that's Taylor Your Dreams. That's Thomas Taylor III, that's Taylor Your Dreams. Until then, go out there and make it a great day.
I'm Craven and I am Confidence Coach. I empower female entrepreneurs to find fulfillment by awakening their confidence. Find me at I am Kayla Craven on Instagram. Let's unleash your confidence.
I'm Nadira Lewis, author, life, and business coach, and founder of the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Academy. I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. I also believe that just like hurt people, transform people can transform people too. Make sure you book a call with me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com, and I'll see you on the other side of victory.
All right, and we are back here on Sisterhood Check-In with my special guest, Miss Khadijah. And we are talking about a topic in regards that has been a tragedy, such a tragedy of a couple that have recently lost their lives due to domestic violence and so many other allegations that were on the video. And I say allegations because we don't have the reports, so we don't know exactly the details of what's going on. And my prayer is to their children. And my prayer is that God will bring peace to their family and that they will be able to work out how to be able to go on from here, because it's tough. It's tough being a parent, let alone having to be a parent that have to deal with the frustration and not feel like there's no way out. And so Khadijah and I were discussing based on our thoughts and what we found to be important to highlight in the midst of this. We're not here to judge or to determine what was the best thing for them to do. We're just simply giving commentary based on what we have, what we feel, and use it as an opportunity to be able to help somebody else. So Khadijah?
Yes.
I can always tell when you start to get tired because you turn sideways and then you turn sideways again, and then you start sliding back. And then you slide all the way down.
We say that every video. All the time we do that. I must do the same.
I start watching you. I'm like, okay, she's turning sideways. I'm starting to see.
Look. Yeah, so it is sad. And just I just pray that and then I do want to pray if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
I guess my prayer is that whoever comes and watch the replay of this will actually, get something from it and benefit from it, and then know that, like, if you're dealing with anything, just reach out to somebody. Like, don't be afraid, because I know, like we were saying before, like sometimes, if you've reached out before, or if you've told can I pray real fast? I just feel like praying, and then I'm gonna go back to this.
Yes.
It's up to you.
Go
You
ahead.
okay?
Yeah.
Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we honor you. We bless you, God. We thank you for this opportunity to reach your people, God, to even impact and empower your people, to strengthen your people, Father, through your word, through knowledge, God, through experiences, through life changing, Father, in the name of Jesus. Now, God, I just lift up her children, his children unto you, God. I pray for their hearts and their minds, God. I pray for healing in the mind. I pray for healing in the heart, God, in the name of Jesus, Father. I just just pray, God, that they will be showered with love, that they will be showered with strength, Father, that they could overcome and move on with their lives, even in this tragic situation, God, that all hope is not lost. Father, strengthen them in the name of Jesus. Amen. But
Amen.
I
Thank you
just
for that.
I wanted to just say, like sometimes the reason why we don't really reach out to people is because in times past, and we were discussing this earlier,
Mhm.
that we may reach out to somebody and we think we're giving that person whatever in confidence. And then we find out that this person done told
Yeah.
this person done told this person done told this
Yeah.
person. And so that trust is broken. So not only are you dealing with maybe the person who is a strong person, but
Mhm.
now you're dealing with a person who has little to no trust. And
Yeah.
because they have little to no trust, they
They
don't even
don't
know
know.
who they can actually go to and speak to and talk to about their issues.
Mhm.
So they tend to house them on the inside and put up that wall, I could say,
Mhm.
and there's no escape. So like you said before, if if you need a way of escape, you journal, you document,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that helps, get some of that stuff out if you don't have that person. And I was just thinking about, I think this sisterhood check-in is just like a good one, not only because, but one reason is that not only COVID, it's Christmas, right? We're
Mhm.
going into the holidays, and people have lost loved ones all during, COVID, and even before.
Mhm.
People are maybe, lonely, or whatever the case may be. People may be going through divorce or separation, or
Mhm.
anything. And some of the most emotional times for a human being is around the holidays,
Mhm.
because that's when everybody gathers. Like, it's sad that society has made these specific days such, just, so grand, to whereas, hey, this is the time that family is going to get together.
Right.
November, December, January with your little boo, if you want to hook up with your little boo or whatever, Valentine's Day, and stuff like that. They put this out in the media that this is how these holidays are supposed to go. And
Mhm.
so when it comes around to these specific holidays and you don't have that, depression could set in. Or not even saying with the family, maybe you're not even financially set, especially for Christmas, and you got your kids over here and all this stuff, and you can't financially provide. There go another thing that's, burden down on you, because
Mhm.
you can't provide like you used to provide. So,
Mhm.
going through this sisterhood check-in and doing this particular live, that even, brought about this whole discussion and giving a way of escape, I think is very beneficial. And even being honest and upfront to say, hey, I don't go and I don't become vulnerable, because the last time I became vulnerable,
Mm.
everybody and their mama knew, and it came back to me and it hurt me. I
Mhm.
confided in you in secret. So now I don't trust Susie, who may be just, the purest person, the most trustworthy person, but because I'm still wounded back here, I can't even move forward over
Mhm.
here, you know.
Mhm.
And so I just, want to bring out that that's kind of like, that valid point. You have to find a way of escape to get anything that's in your chest out. You
Mhm.
don't want to house those things even in your mind. You don't want to house those things, because they become disruptive to your everyday life. Like, they throw you
Right.
off guard. Like she said, they disrupt your peace. You get off focus. Some people go into a depression, suicide, all these different things that come with housing hurt, housing
Mhm.
pain, housing lack of
Mhm.
trust, housing
Mm.
fear.
Mm.
I don't know. It's this is a good topic.
Mm. In First Thessalonians 5:14, it says, "We urge you, brethren, admonish the unruly, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, and be patient with everyone." And I just want to say, if you are called, if you know that God is giving you a gift of encouragement, know you have the ability, whether you're a coach, a minister, or just an everyday person, that may have no titles to your name. You just may be a person that's just good at communicating and communicating, because nowadays that's what's happening. People are going, they're reaching out to people. People tend to connect more with people that have gone through it. So when we are going through our own trials and tribulations, if I had to say anything to encourage you, if you're going through something, just know that as you're going through something, you're going through it for a reason. It's either for a lesson or to help somebody else. And sometimes it's both. And I remember when I think back at all the times when that was told to me, you're going through this for a reason. You're going through this for a reason. I couldn't see helping nobody else because I couldn't see past getting my own. I couldn't see my own self making it through it. But once I started to see how my life was impacting before I even got completely out of it, right? When I started to see how my life was impacting other people, I realized how important it is just to have the conversations. You know, I was on another broadcast a year or two ago with with Pastor Teresa Burton, and we were talking about domestic violence, and I was talking about how I would listen for other people to just talk, right? And as they would be sharing their stories, I was listening for key things to let me know, because I wanted to share what I was going through, but I didn't know who I could trust to share that. I mean, I had my best friend. She was in another state. I know I can communicate to her, but I needed help where I was in a different state. So what I would do is I would listen for communication. I knew how my family was there, but my family was in another state, right? So I was looking for key words, key things that people would talk about. I would listen in and hear different marriages say, "Girl, yeah, such and such and I went through this, and this is," and I will look for ways that I can help my own situation, listening to them, right? I prayed too. I asked God. There's a lot of it God showed me, and I didn't need anybody else. But there are some people I was listening to, like, who can help me? Who here has gone through what I've gone through? So when you've gone through something, don't just, and I have to admit, when I got out of it, I didn't want to look back. So I wasn't thinking about helping anybody because I wanted to get out. And when you get out of a fire, the first thing you do is you just want to get out. You just want to go. But what happens is when you see how good God has been to you, and you see how you've made it out, there's always the part of you that want to go back and help somebody else. There's a part of you that wants to go back and reach and say, "Hey, I know I've been where you are and I got out. Look, no smoke," but I couldn't see that back then. But I think about all the people that poured into me the most during that time that I was really going through in my marriage were people who were going through or have been through the same thing in their previous marriages. So it's important that we don't hold our testimonial, and that we don't hold the things, all the things that God has delivered us from is for us to reach out and be a blessing, and share it with somebody else, because we don't know how it's going to impact their life. They may be one testimonial away from making a major decision that could cost them their life.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's good.
So, guys, we're going to go ahead. We are at the end of our broadcast. It went by so fast. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize how fast we already into an hour and 15 minutes, but I wanted to make sure that we are doing our part, that we are not only praying, but that we're having the conversations, and that we're talking about it, not judging people, but talking about it and giving realistic solutions on how to deal with the problem or the situation. That's why it's called the check-in, Sisterhood Checkin. I'm here to check on you and to make sure you are in the place where you need to be. And if you're not, reach out to me. Look down at the bottom of the screen, book a call with me, www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. If you need help in the area of life and business, and you are struggling to get through to the next dimension or where you're supposed to be, book a call with me and let me show you. Let me take my experience and show you how and give you ways. Because one thing that I've learned is that the things that we experience in life, I don't have to be identical to every situation. But if I've gone through and down the same road that you've gone down, right? There may have been a roadblock there when you went down, but I might have went down that same road and maybe it was a log. We still went down the same road. Right? The path, we still went down the same path. We may have experienced different intricate details, but I was still on the same path. And so if you need somebody that you want to talk to and you need somebody to help you through, you're going through, book a call with me, www.womanofproverbscoaching.com, and let me help you. Let me share some of the things that I've gone through that have helped me get to where I am today. And thank God I am here to live on the opposite side, to be able to show you that there's hope, but I didn't do it alone. It took me making a decision to reach out. And everybody that I reached out to were not, these were people that knew exactly what I was going through. They knew. And they helped me as much as they can. And what they couldn't help me with, they directed me to others. So I say all that to say that when you book a call with me, I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to help you with the information and the knowledge and expertise that I have as a certified coach. And if I'm unable to help you in those particular areas that are beyond my reach, I'm not too proud to be able to connect you with a counselor, to protect you with a licensed counselor, to send you to a licensed counselor that can help you get through that. So thank you guys for watching. I don't have any comments. I was looking to see if I had any comments. If you are watching us on the replay, make sure you put #replay. Let me know what you think and let us know what your thoughts are on tonight's topic. And today is Friday, so Sunday, make sure you join us on Sunday for dinner with the coaches at 7 p.m. I'm excited to see what God is going to do on Sunday with Coach Thomas Taylor, the third visionary coach. We're going to have an amazing broadcast. And thank you, Khadija, for joining me here with dinner with the coaches. I wanted to also announce, too, that every year at the end of the year, Sisterhood Check-In normally does a Sisterhood Check-In celebration where we actually bring in the new year together. Yay! You were there the year before, so you know what that was like. It was amazing. We had an amazing time. So don't forget to set your clocks. Excuse me. If you don't have any plans, make sure you join us. There's going to be a bunch of us. We're going to have a phenomenal time. We're going to talk about everything. And we're going to offer, based on our expertise, ways to help you become a better you for the upcoming year. So also, I want to address. I did put a post up the other day about this social earn. And I just wanted to say, because a lot of people have emailed me, a lot of people have reached out to me to ask me how it works. And to be honest with you, it was my first time I was introduced to it. So I'm still waiting for the results. I've been approved for a payout date. So as soon as I go through that process, I will definitely update you and let you know. And if it works out and it isn't what it's caked up to be, I didn't lose anything but time. I didn't lose anything but time. But if it does work out, it could be a life-changing opportunity for not just only me, but for a lot of people that have also signed up. So I've done all the research. I haven't seen any negative views yet. So I just wanted to come on and address. I've been under the weather for the past couple of days, which is why I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to go. So that's it. So for those of you that had questions about social earn, I'm still waiting for the process. I've been approved for all three stages. So basically, it's a social app that allows you to download different games, take surveys, and you get paid for doing those surveys in the apps. And when you do, the social earn rewards you for downloading those apps and following the procedures that they ask you to do in those apps. So that's basically what it is about. And I have gone through all the process. and have made made pretty good, did okay, based on the calculations. So now I'm just waiting till I will know as of next week if this particular opportunity is all what it's caked up to be. So if it is, like I said, it's an amazing opportunity for all of us. But in life, you got to take chances. You never know if anything is going to work. Last year I went usually around this time of year I usually promote an app called Dosh, and Dosh usually reward you for sharing the app with other people, and I've made quite a bit of money doing that. So this doesn't seem any different, and I've tried the different opportunities, but that's what you have to do. You have to reach out and at least try. If it doesn't work out the way it needs to be, then I haven't lost anything. But if it does, again, it will benefit me and it will benefit many of you that have signed up also. So I will let you know by next week exactly what the end result is. So we will see. So until next time, thank you guys for watching. Look at you. You all smiled to Perky because we about to end. Look at you. Look, perked up as soon as I said we about to go. All of a sudden she sits
see, I was like
we about to go to sleep. What? My voice is hoarse. I can't even laugh. It's so hilarious.
Oh my gosh, girl. You see me, I was like, oh, okay.
Have a good night.